a little anecdote about my own interaction with farm workers. I'm from Nebraska, and I was teaching in a junior high school in Lincoln. And at that particular point, I would call myself I was a townie, but from a little tiny town, and surrounded by dear friends who were farmers and farmers' children. And at that particular time when I was teaching in middle school there, junior high, it occurred to me for the very first time in my life that there were children moving through the state of Nebraska and other areas in the whole country whose families were following the harvest, the plantings, the winters, the summers with the break of change of temperature. And as they were moving through and we were hearing about them and watching them come and go, and I was watching these junior high kids in my classroom, it occurred to me that who kept track of their schooling? Who kept track of their 3 months spent in this town and 2 months spent in that town? And at that time, it was just the very beginnings of a nationwide tracking system for school children, so you could go from coming into Arizona, ending up in Nebraska, down near Florida, and have your school system, the work that you've done, follow you. And I tell you, I have never forgotten that, and never been more aware of the fact that it is so important that we realize the farm workers, the people who harvest our food, who do the jobs that many people don't want to do, are part of our community. It's that old image that Craig referred to. It's widening the table, it's lengthening the table, it's looking at a whole circle of people who are part of us. And so it's with special welcome that I love to invite these people from the Eastern Farm Workers who've kept a good connection with Plymouth over the years, and I just want to mention a couple of things. We have here Connor Eisenbach, who is here from the office and the work that's done over on North Salina. And we have Karen Remley, who is here with us today, who sings soprano in the community choir with me. We both admit that we're kind of aging sopranos, but we identify as sopranos and nonetheless. And also just to lift up a couple things about the Eastern Farm Workers that you may know and may not know. One is they're part of the Sanctuary Coalition that Plymouth is part of, that All Saints is part of, that St. Lucy's is part of, that Beth Shalom is part of. And they come often to our meetings. They are the people that on Super Bowl Sunday create tamales that you can buy all over the city. We've bought them here. They open up All Saints Kitchen and create tamales, and that work and selling those tamales goes to their work and their support of the farm workers that are in our area. They've been part of Know Your Rights trainings with Searden, and you're going to hear a little bit today. This is a really, really horrific time for people who are farm workers, whether they're documented or not documented, whether they are going through a system of being accepted, whether they have a green card or not. It's rough times, and so their work is even more important. Connor and Karen will share with us, and we'll have a time for questions and a time to know how we can continue to work and support with them and as they support the farm workers in our area. And then just note that we tried to have snacks that were appropriate today, that filled ourselves with salsa and tostados and plantains and guacamole and all those things that we kind of associate with people who come from the southern regions of this hemisphere. And so, welcome, Connor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nancy, for that wonderful introduction. I do want to say that even though we do have the term of our organization is Eastern Farm Workers Association, we do also do a lot of advocacy for service workers within Syracuse and outside. Some of our members are home health aides, security guards, or work in food service in some way. At the end of the day, all of these people are working low-wage jobs that do not encompass and meet all of their needs. But thank you so much for opening yourselves up to our speaking engagement. I'd like to thank Reverend French for inviting us to talk. And as Nancy said before, my name is Connor, and I am the Volunteer Speaking Engagement Coordinator for Eastern Farm Workers Association.
I need to know I did. Okay, just a second. Hi, my name is Karen Remley. I'm a volunteer, and I have done this position before. I'm going to do it again when he leaves, because he's leaving very soon, right after this talk. So, okay, go ahead and go to it, Connor.
So, as I mentioned before, we are an all-volunteer membership association who organize farm and service workers in central New York. And whether that be organizing immediate benefits such as access to preventative medical care and emergency food services, while also teaching our membership the skills and tools necessary to incite a long-term change, all without accepting government funds, which has been really important over the past couple of months. And as we have kind of been operating over the past couple of months, we have a community have faced substantial cuts to food stamps, raids which kidnap our neighbors and family, and a general cost of living increase, which is affecting everyone. Some of our members have also been illegally cut off from heating and electricity needs, right as we sit on the precipice of what looks to be another great Syracuse winter. That's why we at EFWA are running our annual holiday campaign to help members celebrate while building organizational strength. We're also still fulfilling food request forms and dealing with other financial and emotional impacts of the season, and of officials who are not worried about their own health care, food budgets, or family cohesion, even as their inaction and failures threatens our own. As a 100% volunteer organization, we need your help as members in the community who deeply care about Syracuse and the city of Syracuse as a whole. If you would like to volunteer, whether that be as a full-time volunteer over break, canvassing in low-income neighborhoods, joining our farm camp crews, or helping with office work, join us at a table that we have, and we'd love to sign you up. We understand that the holidays are a very busy time for everybody. But rest assured, these problems were here before I joined EFWA, and they will continue to be here even after I leave. And so we would love any amount of help that you could help with volunteering. Our members volunteer, but because a lot of them work odd hours, whether that's overnight shifts or have family members they have to take care of, we understand that it is difficult to kind of get people to volunteer. And so we would take really any amount of support. Also, if you would like to make a donation to help us cover operating costs, as I said again, we are 100% volunteer run, and we do not accept government funding. Nobody at EFWA has ever taken a salary or paycheck and will never do so. We can also take donations up here. At the end of the day, those in power answer to the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule. They're able to control us through a strategy of divide and conquer. Our strategy is unite the many to defeat the few. And we have a strategy to bring people of all walks of life together. Because it's not enough to be against what's happening. We have to fight for real solutions, and that takes more than a day of protest. So, again, if you would like to join us and help in some way with the day-to-day work to make change, please come up and talk to us a little bit more. I can answer any questions if you have any, but thank you again for letting us talk to your congregation.
If I wanted to make a donation, do you have can't do it today, but I would like to.
Sure.
Do y'all have a address or envelopes?
So
To submit it?
we are on 525, yep, North Salina Street, open 9 to 9, 365 days a year.
Every day except Christmas.
No, we're open Christmas.
Well, we have a Christmas party on Christmas Day.
Only for
The Christmas party's on the 5th.
It's on the 5th.
There's a holiday party on the 5th. The office is open, but we can accept a cash or a check donation. But you have a question?
Why don't you go to Jacob first?
Yeah.
What's your favorite food?
In preparation for the season, I'm excited to go home and eat mashed potatoes that my mom makes. So that's probably what I'm thinking of the most right now.
You may have said this already. You have a little office on Salina, correct?
Yes.
Can you help us understand in a typical week the kind of responses you are making?
So the nature of what we're doing is fairly ephemeral because oftentimes people, especially people who are working low income jobs, are there's a problem thrust upon them and they have to deal with it as fast as possible. But we have a calendar up here, so Sundays we usually run a camp crew, which is going out to farms in the area, whether those be, right now it's mainly dairy farms because those operate year round, but in the spring and summer and fall we also go to vegetable farms and fruit farms in the area. We operate a food drive at the same time. We do a lot of benefit advocacy, whether that be getting in volunteer doctors or lawyers to help our members know their own rights. Yep, and to keep their own lights on. We also have a clothing closet that we help with on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So if you would like a little bit more of an idea, we have these newspapers available, which have some kind of articles about the work that we do, also ways to contact us, and a general schedule of what we do on a weekly basis.
How long have you worked at the place?
So I have been with Eastern Farm Workers Association for the past 2 semesters.
Do we have time to ask another question? I don't want to.
As you advocate, to me, it is just nonsense that we're undercutting the workers who we need desperately to sustain our economy. Okay? So, I think everybody here just like that's asinine. But anyway, it's happening.
It is, yes.
And so, how are you all advocating? I know you're wonderful volunteers, and you're directed on helping those migrants who may be here legally or who are afraid to come out of their huts or whatever housing they're provided for fear they're going to be taken away. So, could you tell us a little bit about your advocacy? I don't know if you've done that yet.
Sure. Just one thing that I should stress, we do not ask if our members are documented or undocumented. That is not important to us. But our advocacy takes a couple of different actions. The first thing that's important is if you are hungry, if you are cold, that is kind of the first structural foundation that needs to be taken care of before you can self-organize. And so a lot of our work in Syracuse is making sure that people can meet that basic need, especially in light of SNAP and WIC cuts that have been facing a lot of our members as of this past year, or particularly this past November. But our advocacy happens in a couple of ways. We have advocacy training about self-organization, and so that happens at our office. We also have a workers' benefit council, which is involved, and that happens every Thursday night, right, at 6. And so that is taking people who would not necessarily interact because they're working different low-income jobs, and getting them in a room to kind of talk about what problems we as an organization want to be tackling first. Some more of that advocacy comes in the form of arguing and petitioning against National Grid and other electric companies in order to kind of try and keep the lights on a little bit longer. We've been doing a lot of that as of this past couple of weeks. And also advocating for back pay. There was a case this past summer in which we got a group of roofers we were able to get them 2 months of back pay that they had not been paid while still working their job, which is
Crazy.
despicable. But yes. Does that answer your question?
I mean, I could keep. Yeah, but
For
yes,
sure.
thank you.
I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
It helps. Yeah.
And Kian thinks the same way. He's like behind you. Yes. Amen.
Other questions for anybody else?
Perfect. Again, sorry.
Several of us here at Plymouth have had some Know Your Rights training by Syrendon, and I'm wondering, it sort of piggybacks on what Kathleen was asking, but I'm wondering, what if someone came to your office on North Salina needing some support, or what if someone came needing some training? How would you respond from that office? Or
Sure. So we have an emergency benefits program that is ready to go. So if somebody is a member and they come to us, we can hand them a package that usually, because it's an emergency benefit, sustains them and their family for 3 to 5 days. But the advocacy is something that is more beneficial if we get or if we can approach a group at once. So sometimes the Know Your Rights sessions happen in our office or at certain farms that we go to, if we can get somebody to go out to these areas with us. But the trainings that we do are Know Your Rights trainings. We have classes that talk about strata organizing, so that is another aspect of our advocacy, actually getting people to organize and fight, because at the end of the day, we're stronger together than we are as individuals. Can you think of any other trainings that we offer?
Well, just a couple weeks ago, somebody came in our office because her husband had been taken by ICE. And she was like gonna fall on the floor crying. And we gave her support immediately. Mm-hmm. Like, we talked to people to try to figure out, when people lose their family from deportation, we try to help them figure out where their family has gone. Pardon me. That's not exactly easy to do in the prison system right now. No. And also, when people come in the office and they just need food for their family to survive, we have an emergency food system where people can get like a bag full of food. Yeah. And we also help people keep their lights on. There are many, many ways in which people can help. And I've made tons and tons and tons of posters. My favorite thing to do, but they, like, help us to let people know what's going on. I feel like I'm very nervous with this speaker in front of me.
Now again, where were you guys located I know I've lived here in Syracuse since I was 9 or 10 years old, but whereabouts on North Salina are you located at?
525, right across from a gym? I'm not sure what
It's
that thing is.
between the CYO and the Renta Center.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
we're right there.
Okay,
Nice bright red lettering. You won't miss us.
alrighty, okay. Gotcha.
We also have newsletters here if you'd like to read them. They're made by our staff.
Yeah.
And we have translators who come and make sure that it is multilingual. I think it's Spanish and English right now.
At least some of the articles are. Yeah.
Sometimes they're working on expanding into other languages because we have other people who speak different languages
That-
besides Spanish.
Is a very fair point. Something that we're always in need of are people who can translate, whether that be out canvassing or just on the phone. We had Syracuse and the farms in the area tend to employ a lot of Spanish-speaking people, but there's also a fairly large Congolese population within Syracuse who speak French, a lot of different African languages, some sub-Saharan African languages, so different dialects of Arabic. Yeah,
Have
so
you gone on the clinic?
No, but I've gone on to canvassing.
Okay. Sometimes we also offer clinics for people who don't have any access to health care. We caught a case of cancer where this guy did not know what was wrong, and we get him to a clinic, and they found out he had cancer. So he would not have found that out without the clinic. And imagine what it'd be like to have no health care access whatsoever, and being told that you're stealing from the country by by just existing. I can't even imagine what that would feel like.
What clinic are you talking about?
Well, we usually get volunteer doctors and nurses to come, and we offer them in areas specific. We have people who don't have access. We bring them there, and they get checkups.
Kind of pick up clinics?
Yeah, kind of pick up clinics. We're also affiliated with the Ithaca Free Clinic, which has helped sometimes. No problem. Ask as many questions as you want. We're not going to do that.
I think the Eastern Farm Workers Association here in Syracuse is probably one of the best networked nonprofit organizations I have experienced. And so I just encourage you to get on their email list, to go to their Facebook page. We as a congregation have been their allies for a long time, but they are networked with other organizations. The Worker Center that used to be housed in our building, they are, as I mentioned, the coalition. It's a good way to keep us as a congregation and as individuals networked with them. I don't know if they have 100 computers in the back offices, but they do just a lot of really good social networking and attendance of meetings by their volunteers too. So they're a good coalition.
It's funny that you mentioned that all of our back office, to like pull the curtain up a little bit, is all completely analog. Typewriter, all that, specifically because
That still works.
it is information that is not easily accessible unless you come into the office and take it. And so all of the networking that we are able to do is through the work of volunteers, the work of business support.
Some of the cards we have in the filing cabinet are older than I am.
Yeah.
So
We are a service organization who is here to stay. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much for your time.